Hello everyone, welcome to Cloud Start channel. In the last video we have learned about Service Bus Queue. Today we will learn about Azure Storage Queue. We will learn what it is, how it works, and the main difference between Service Bus Queue and Azure Storage Queue. So let's begin. What is Azure Storage Queue? Azure Storage Queue is a reliable and scalable message queuing service that enable cloud application to communication asynchronously. If you remember in the last video, we have discussed about decoupling one application. So let me just define it again. So for example, we want to send message from option A to option B. Now in between, we keep one storage, for example, here Azure Storage Queue, so that if option B is down, then it will not impact any way. Now, moving forward, the key feature of Azure Queue basically in Azure Queue, it is a like inbuilt in our Azure Storage Queue. Whenever we have a like Azure Storage, it will be present. So for Azure Queue, the billing is very less with respect to like a Service Bus Queue. Now the other thing, it will help our application to be decoupling. Now use cases, Azure Storage Queue help us to load leveling, task scheduling, workflow processing, and manage buffering in cloud applications. Let's move add. So how it works? So basically, as I was mentioning, for example, one app that is sending record, so that will be A, which want to send message to option B. So and in between our queue resides. So here producer or sender send message to the consumer or receiver. In between queue will present. So we will push messages to Azure queue, and from there consumer will retrieve the message and send to like to the consumer. So in this work it will work basically. Now the main key concept of Azure Storage Queue is the message size. So as the for the basic or the primary tier, so it's 64 KB that the message that we can send, and the storage mechanism of the message can contain million of messages, so there is no limit, and we can control how message will flow. If it is not able to send, how like where the message will stay, that we can control basically. Now quickly discuss about the advantages of Azure Storage Queue. As I mentioned, first thing is integrated with Azure Storage, so you don't need to like the billing was very less. Apart from that, scalability, we can scale as per our requirement. Whenever required, we can scale. And reliable, as it's a integrated in Azure Storage, so it is reliable as the other Azure Storage component as well. And decoupling, it help us to decoupling our application. For some reason, if our receiver or consumer is not able to receive a message, our message will be saved in our Azure queue, and it can be sent later on. Now let's see the main difference between Azure Queue and Service Bus Queue. As I was mentioning from my project experience, what we saw in one of our application, we use Azure Queue, but we saw that from our like sender send messages which message size is more than 64 KB. So on that time, it like we saw problem because that message is not able to push in the Azure queue. So on that scenario, for that reason, we move from Azure queue to Azure Service Queue. So message sizing, one of the factor that we need to consider. If it is like less, then we can use Azure Storage Queue. But if we are expecting message size higher, then we should keep Azure Service Bus Queue. Apart from that, we have very like duplicate deletion mechanism basically. So in Azure Storage Queue, we don't have any mechanism to delete duplicate entities, but in Service Bus Queue, we have to delete the duplicate messages. In the same in dead letter queue, in storage queue, we don't have any dead letter queue. If required, we can create a queue called like failure messages, and we need to save the messages there. But in our service bus queue, we have a dedicated dead letter queue where we can put the message if we are not able to send. Now the cost wise, if you see the cost of the Azure Storage Queue is much less because it's come with Azure Storage account, but with respect to Service Bus, it's a storage will be higher, the cost also will be higher because it able to handle like large volume, it able to handle the complex situation as well. So in short, if we want to choose one from Azure Storage Queue and another Service Bus Queue, the main purpose, we need to see the complexity that we want to serve, the message size, and the the throughput that you want. So if it is a simple and the message size is less than 64 kb, then we can go for Azure Storage Queue. But if we are expecting message size is higher, more than 64 kb, and we are expecting that we need to handle the like fast in fast out order, and we need to delete the duplicate message as well. On that scenario, we should use service bus queue. So that's all. So as per today, please like, share and subscribe.